This program is proudly brought to you by ABSA Vehicle and Asset Finance. Welcome to Durban and to the International Boat Show, held during the stunning mid-year weather of KwaZulu-Natal's busiest holiday season. For locals and tourists alike, the Durban International Boat Show is a sensory feast, with around 100 million rands worth of boats and accessories on show. Split into three distinct interest groups, the Gamefish Classic, the Yachting Expo and the Powerboat and Watersport Show, this year's Durban International Boat Show had something for everyone attracted by the lure of the ocean and its exciting sporting lifestyle. We start off at the picturesque Wilson's Wharf with the Powerboat and Watersport Show, where this year's emphasis was on affordability with a new concept for getting your hands on the boat you want.
Just from our side, first of all, thanks. Our reasoning for getting involved, the boating industry in South Africa is really gearing to take off. More and more sales, we've really noticed that right from private individuals up to large companies getting involved, acquiring boats. And obviously our business is to finance them. And that is particularly why we have got involved in the show.
Whether it's a local or imported boat you're after, the emphasis is on quality and value for money.
Well, people with big money are just the same as you and I. They enjoy their life. They want to enjoy. You've got two cars, they've got two houses or more. What's the next way to enjoy yourself? Why go to Europe and travel all over there to be in the south of France when you can do it all back here in South Africa? We have it all in this country.
I think on the end of the day, yes, it's clients, but it's also family, it's also friends, and I think it's something to get away from the rat race, to get on the water, to enjoy it, because I mean there's nothing better and more relaxing than to get on a good, decent boat on the water.
And talking of getting onto the water, it's over to the Durban Yachting Expo at Durban Marina, where the Hobie Cats and Hellcats kick off the yachting regatta over a clockwise course within the Durban Harbour precinct.
Pretty good, we've got about 12 knots. Should be fun, maybe flying one hole. Maybe get my partner on the wire. Should be fun.
When I give the command, start your engines, okay? And then we will start behind the line, between the two flagpoles behind me. One runner, one with the boat.
Yeah, it's quite a nice light breeze, flattish water, so we'll be able to pick up some nice speed. We've got to go through a gate just over here on our right. Probably have to tow to get through because the wind has shifted a little bit already. Once we're through the gate, we'll be able to foot off a little bit, in other words, head at an angle to the wind, and the boats will pick up speed nicely, heading up towards the first buoy.
With a Le Mans-style start, the stronger runners in this race would get to start into clean wind, whilst the rest of the pack would be forced to outmaneuver each other and find that clear space heading up to the eastern part of the harbour. A tight start, with Hurtle just ahead of the others as they head down to the first marker buoy. A southerly wind gusting through at 90 degrees to the Cats makes for some exciting sailing, with full use being made of the trapeze by some of the more adventurous sailors who are keen to maximise points in this two-leg race. Many of the participants are taking the opportunity to put in a bit of practice for the Hobie 16 Nationals to be held off Durban Vetchies Pier over Easter 2007, a selection event for the World Champs to be held in Fiji later in the year. A long reach on starboard would take the contestants to the end of the first lap with a jibe around the first buoy, leading to a reach on port back to the far buoy at Wilson's Wharf, and then back again in the strengthening winds. Gary Hubach on Hurtle was still in the lead at this point, followed closely by Tim Wickham with sail 90908 and Sean Fennessy with sail 90703 attempting a windward side-passing manoeuvre. At this stage, the Hobie Cats were dominating, with the Hellcats not far behind. While marshals kept watch for any infringements, Sean Fennessy's Hobie's nose digs into an unexpected wave in his Cat's pitch poles near the Wilson's Wharf turning buoy. While attempting to right the boat, Sean's crew member loses his grip on the righting rope and over she goes, effectively putting one of the top competitors out of the race. The rest of the field sailed past, knowing that a change in top position would bring everyone a little closer to the podium and the points needed to take victory. So it's Hurtle first back onto the sandbank, with crew member Suzanne Horn completing the short run up the sand to the finishing flags to take line honours.
We were right up on one hole. And also when we were coming down to the first mark again, I kept saying to Gary, just relax, don't throw it all away. I said, we're in the lead, just chill out, because he was getting quite hectic.
The gusts are hectic because of the buildings from Durban and so on. You get wind channeling down through the roads, and it's, if you're I mean, you saw one of the boats went over. Catches you unawares as if you're asleep, you're upside down. Anybody can really sail. On regattas, it's brilliant. Everybody is very helpful. It's a very social event, like from a family point of view. You got crews mixed, but male, female, the dad and his son, and and it's very good sports as far as family orientation goes. It's easy to get into. You have your different class boats. You saw now today the Hellcat and then the Hobie. The Hellcat's a locally manufactured boat. Maybe a little bit better for like training, but for racing, I would rather go. Your Hobie's the 4x4. It's built for beach launching and so on. It's built strong, and it's a top cat.
The wind's come up nicely, which we needed. I thought we were going to have a very light wind day, but it's actually blowing very nicely, and we got out on trapeze, which is pretty exciting for spectators. And yeah, a lot of fun. Unfortunately, with the bay conditions, because you've got buildings and ships and stuff, you get very gusty conditions. And Sean is a really awesome sailor. He's brilliant. He's one of the top Hobie sailors, both him and Jerry, his crew. And unfortunately, they just got caught by a gust.
Second position, Greg Matthew. Greg walked away with 500 Rand, courtesy of the Durban International Boat Show. And first position, Barry Hubach. Barry and his crew were fiercely competitive.
No, it's very nice. I actually would have liked to have thanked Chris McCann and Derek Wilkes and Absa and so on for this event.
The final results: Gary Hubach first in the Hobies, followed by Greg Matthew and Tim Wickham. Charles Ackerman placed first in the Hellcats, with Paul Ridsdale and Graham Weir second and third respectively. While the sailors take a break, we go back to Wilson's Wharf, a quaint marina featuring the best views over Durban Harbour, to check out what's happening in the powerboat and watersport world.
I got back in and I put my focus onto the angling, and it was a thing that we discussed one day where we get the chance to live a life that we like to live through the benefits and through the goodwill of anglers. I say anglers because that is where my background comes from. They give us the opportunity, by spending money with us, they allow us to live a good life. What I did in turn was I decided I wanted to give something back to the angling community and start a development team. I could be wrong in saying so, but it's one of the first development teams ever in South Africa. Out of the original 5 kids that were involved, which were aged between 11 and 13, 4 of them have recently been nominated for the Natal Under 16 offshore angling team. So it's been very, very rewarding for us. And you know, maybe one day we grow another generation of boat buyers, and maybe they'll come back and see Uncle AJ and buy their boats from us.
Well, when I went, I started going out with my dad. He started teaching me a lot about tackle and that, and what lures to use and what rods to use and that. So then I started learning how to use all the right tackle and that.
It's an honor to represent the Natal team, and I love to fish at Sherry Beach.
This innovation and commitment to the sport earned AJ Smith and Superduck the coveted Deltec Batteries floating trophy for propelling the industry forward. Midwinter on the east coast of South Africa means cool mornings and warm days. And the Durban Gamefish Classic was incentive enough to get anglers out of bed in the small hours to catch the one fish that could win them an incredible first prize.
The Rod and Reel Club and the organisers of the Durban International Boat Show, we're very proud to be here to launch the second Durban Game Fish Classic. Leave it. Last year we gave away a check for 100,000 Rand to the winner of the highest percentage over benchmark, and we've already increased that prize in value by 50%. So we're hoping this tournament's going to grow from strength to strength.
With this awesome 15'6" Sodwana cat up for grabs, complete with trailer, canopy, boat cover, the latest in navigational aids, radio and fish finder, it was a prize everyone was determined to claim.
We're going to go north. It looks a bit bumpy, but yeah, we're going to go north and give it a try, see what happens. Go for Kuda. I don't know, maybe Tani, see what happens.
The Durban Game Fish Classic is a 10-species competition with minimum but very attainable benchmark weights in place. The fish with the highest percentage over benchmark affording that angler bragging rights for the year. With most of the bigger boats launching from within Durban Harbour, the field hit the open seas at first light.
We're about to go out to sea now. We're going to go and fish in a game fish, the Durban Game Fish Classic. We'll be hunting a variety of game fish, namely our snook, garrick, some kuta, the king mackerel. We're looking for some tani, the yellowfin, and some eastern little, the kawakawas. And the purpose of today is to try and find one of those fish that's going to break our benchmark.
Good catches of barracuda had been made earlier in the week just south of Durban, and with swells picking up, most anglers were electing to stay reasonably close inshore. But that first prize fish was nowhere in sight on day one. With more success on day two, the field were landing up to a dozen sizable fish with good quotas of king mackerel making up the majority of the basket. Unfortunately, most were well below the benchmark 20 kilograms.
Now, it was a bit bumpy at first. We got a little bit of bait at the 8 fathom mark, and we trawled around the fence area, so that's where we got this one.
One kuda would have been a definite contender if it weren't for a hungry Zambezi shark.
We're off of Stud Rock. We had a live shad out. Got chowed on a very long line on the surface. Fought the fish for a while, came right in behind the boat. We followed the fish a little bit, got it right in, had a last run, and as it ran away, we felt shark took it we felt the shark chout, and that was it. We came in on the surface and nothing left.
With things looking up on day three and the competition still wide open, anyone could snap up the 150,000 rands worth of first prize. Crews were off again at first light with their favourite lures and fish finders working double overtime. Captains knew they would have just 8 hours to land the big one. Running tracers and adding in that special mix onto the bait that is often a guarded secret, Corey Claessen's team on the imported Rodman 1250 decided to stick to local waters just north of Umhlanga to see if luck was on their side. Debbie Claessens, current South African ladies record holder in the marlin category, hooks up one of the 10 species, an eastern tuna, unfortunately more suitable for bait than for consideration as a prize winner.
That's what we call little Bonnie. That's our bait for the day.
With most of the day taken up in trawling the deeper waters as far afield as Blythedale Beach area, and with every rod and reel working the water, time was starting to run out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Going for control. Good morning. This is Ben.
But for someone else in the fleet, luck would smile a little brighter with only minutes to spare.
We went to Umhlanga Barge. Our plan was just to catch some baits and then go to Umhloti, try and catch some more kuda, hopefully a big one. And we were lucky enough to get, obviously, this tuna, the only bait that was out there.